Hey, good morning from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Back in the game, YusefWateef with my buddy DeAndre. What time is it there?
Uh, is need
Sao
you
Paulo,
son, huh?
Brazil. Back in the game, YusefWateef with my buddy. I got interference. Back in the game. There we go. What time is it there?
Need you son, huh?
What city are you living in right now?
Yakutka.
Oh, how long have you been there?
Let's see. Juhachinen. Juhachinen.
Oh,
Juhachinen.
wow. And how long? Well, wait a minute. You've been there a long time, and do you plan on staying there? You planning on going to some other places, or is Japan it for you and your team?
So this, uh, ちょっと、と、もう、Zimbu, but like we gonna be here for like probably,
For everybody who doesn't know,
yeah.
his Japanese is still better than most of your anything else because people who watch this channel know I'm always telling everybody, hey, what's up, Kenna? Kenna is a superstar. Love her to death. I tell everybody, listen, learn a second language. In my opinion, a second language is the key to getting out of where you are into someplace better, especially if you were born without a whole bunch of stuff, especially if you don't have money. But check this out. I want to tell everybody about Just DeAndre. And before we even get started, you know what I always say. This is a platform where I bring on a lot of interesting people and I share. Why? Because you can be friends with other people. It doesn't hurt me for you to go subscribe to Black in China with Just DeAndre. He's been there. Now you can give it to him in English. What city are you in? How long have you been there? How long have you and your family been there?
I've been in this city for 18 years. Been in Yakutka for like 18 years. So had a couple of people come over, family members and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're in this area or if you're in Tokyo, I live in Kanagawa. But if you live in Tokyo, if you're coming to Tokyo, we can link up. There's a couple of brothers that were trying to get over here. I helped them out. I pushed them over to people where they could get employment. Got one brother came from California, but he came over as a track coach, which is very rare to get into the athletic side of everything. And another brother, he already left the States on a program, and he was in Thailand teaching, and then he wanted to come to Japan. And it's another guy named Joe, and he's a great English teacher. And he hooked up with him. We both hooked up, shared information, and now that guy is in Hamamatsu, and he's teaching English right now. So we gave him everything he needed to know, helped him out. He's here. Unfortunately, I got too busy and I couldn't meet up with him because he came down and we just crossed. But yeah.
Well, my whole thing about Japan, and a lot of people might remember from this time, I spent, I don't know, 1 or 2 years in Tokyo, Japan, and I had a great time. Now, that was years ago, and I wanted to talk to you about what life was there now. For people who read my website, back in 2013, it was long after I think I had left. I wrote Tokyo, Japan, and I moved to Japan. I am an amateur martial artist. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling, Thailand, kickboxing, just whatever I can get into. And I got to train under Kikuta Sanai at the Grabaka Training Academy. And this was actually one of my most interesting coaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
Oh, I know him.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, he used to. He used to come to the gym up here in Yokosuka. It was called Showa Total Combat because they're under the same umbrella, and the top instructor over here fought Anderson Silva back in Pride days in Japan, and his name was Shibuya. And he was my instructor over here for jiu-jitsu. I didn't do too well with it because like I wrestled in high school, so you know that whole being on your back thing as a wrestler, it messes with you. It's just like a second sense, and then you know, but I got better at it. But yeah, he would always come up there. He's this guy's like really good. Like he's like really.
Hey,
really
listen, I tell people that he was the first man to ask me the question, and people say, "Well, what is the question?" The question is, how much do you really want to learn about fighting? I remember we were sparring with different coaches and going around doing different things, and I expected him to kind of be a little aggressive towards me, see what I knew, what I didn't know. The bell rang, and I just remember seeing my feet, and I'm like, "Why are my feet up here? Oh, my feet are up here. I'm down there."
Yeah.
He slowed me down so hard and so fast and so. Now, of course, later in life, I realized he was playing with me like a child.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to hurt me. But the first time somebody really puts it on you, and one of your coaches really makes you decide, all right, let's see what you got inside. Man, I'll never forget him from that. But I got my stuff together and did a little bit of training. I got to be in a magazine in Japan, mainly because I'm thinking big black guy.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she showed me around the city. I don't know if you know, and I know this is low class, right? Do you know Bickety Donkey?
Yeah.
Tell them about Bickety Donkey.
Yeah, I'm like Bickety Donkey is kind of like, man, it's with the hot plate, and you know what I'm saying, it's good food, right? It's good food. It's like what they call it, hamburger steaky. Like it's a steak, but it's a hamburger basically, but it's like it's the leanest that you can get, right? It's pure beef. There's no pork in it, but it's like 95 to 98% lean. And they bring it on a hot plate. You got your choice. You can have the one that I would get all the time is the one with the cheese with the pineapple on the top of it. I would always get that one. And then the one thing I didn't like is I like the fries that they give it to you, but I didn't like the ketchup because it's like tomato paste. Like I know that, you know, it's like tomato paste. That's the only thing I didn't like. But the melon soda float that they would have was great. The big gullet glasses and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yo, these glasses were ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember walking downtown, and I had to go inside just to see how they reacted. I went to the Blackie tanning salon because a lot of people don't understand. Japanese people love black culture. Like, when they want to get tanned down with cornrows and dreads, like they take it seriously. I'm like, tanning salons? I walked in and I was like, "Hi, how much?" And they looked at me like, it was hilarious.
Yeah. I'm like, they still have it. It's more of a what they were trying to mock with that is more of the Okinawan southern Japan, because if you go south in Japan, everyone's darker. They start to get darker and darker, and then when you get down in Okinawa, they look like Hawaiians, right? They like they don't really look like that. Like my mother-in-law, she's darker. Like if you would look at my mother-in-law, you would think she was like a Filipino, but my mother-in-law is pure Japanese. She's just from the Inu side, the original people, the indigenous people.
Here's what a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to say something political. Okinawan aren't Japanese; they're Okinawan.
Yeah, they're Okinawan. They're more of the Maui, Polynesian, Chamorro, Samoan, bred people. Like they're more of that, and the indigenous people that are actually supposed to be in Japan are the Inus. You know what I'm saying? The Inus look more like the darker Indians or the Eskimos, basically. And what people don't really know about Japan is that the Japanese people that you see are actually bastardized Koreans.
Yeah, we can. Oh, hey, brother Art just popped in. Thanks for popping by, buddy. Appreciate it. So here's what I was actually. Oh, by the way, do you know the pink bunny?
Yeah, the pink bunny.
I work with this company called Nova, and let me tell you people something. This is back in the heyday. The pay was real good. The work was not hard, and it was a lot of fun. That was the team I worked with out there.
Yeah. Like, well, when did you leave? When did you leave?
Ooh, You know what? I'm gonna have to consult my. Well, let me do this. By the way, for anybody who wants to go to that page, this was him training, and then they had his retirement, and that got me tripped up for Kazuo Masaki.
Yeah.
I guess now is as good a time as any. If you want to ask when I was in,
Yeah,
Japan, I'll give you the years. For people who don't know, who aren't subscribed to my channel all the time, and by the way, one thing you need to do is click the subscribe button and click the like button and click the bell. Yes, some of us are old enough to remember before you had to do all that. But I want you to definitely click subscribe, because this is how I get to meet interesting people and bring them to you, and I've had a good time doing it. Well, I also tell people to go to my LinkedIn, because my name is YusefWateef. That's who I really am. I don't have any pseudonyms. But don't worry about my resume. When you go to that, look down and look at my, where is it called? I want everybody to look at my recommendations, because this is where other professionals vouch for my credibility and my professionalism. This is where other successful businessmen and businesswomen can go and say, this guy is legit. This is where I earn my income, because for those who don't know, I'm mainly a writer, editor. I do a lot of resume writing quite successfully for people. That's where a lot of my businesses come from. So since we're here and you asked when I left Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Because the reason, that's what I wanted to know, when you left, because I think you left. Yeah, you left. You left You left 5 years before the big fiasco with Nova.
I left when?
You left 5 years before the big fiasco, right?
Can you? Now I've read about this, but you were on the ground. Tell them about. Let's do this. Can you go back and tell everybody about the Nova fiasco?
Okay, so basically the way it works in Japan, I'll just give you a little. I gotta build how it works, right? Because if I say it, people will be like, "Oh, that's crazy," right? In Japan, this is the trick back. In Japan, you're a contractor, right? So foreigners that come to Japan, or people that are not Japanese, you will never ever work in a company and work for 30 years and get a retirement. And if you do, they don't have to give it to you. It's up to the company to give it to you. Only by law does a Japanese company have to give those benefits to a Japanese person. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that if you work at a company for more than 2 years consistently as a contractor, they have to give you permanent placement. So Nova or any of these headhunting English companies, what they do is they move English teachers around, because every year they'll move you to a different location. So that breaks the contract. Now in Japan, a company can't have a subcontract company for more than 5 years, or they would have to have permanent, how that works. So basically what Nova did is they kept getting extensions. But what happened is the other company was trying to muscle in. They wasn't trying to give no ground. Big bank breaks little bank. Then they lost all of their contracts. Right? And then Interact took over. Right? And this happened in 2008. This news broke around summer 2008. And guess what happened 5 years after that? Nova took back over, and then Interact had the same thing. So this happens time and time again, but the problem is that it couldn't happen again because the earthquake happened in 2013.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually, when the earthquake happened, I was actually a crane inspector on the naval base over here. So I just came down from the 150 ton portal crane for the carrier, for the nuclear carrier. And I was getting in the truck. It was the parking brake was on, and I saw the whole portal crane doing this, and all the water got sucked out of the harbor, basically almost. And that was like the worst earthquake ever. So it was the worst earthquake ever. But Japanese people are ridiculous. They would walk 45 minutes to like 2 hours to work. When the trains weren't running, they were still at work. Like
we don't. Have, here's the thing: they're not ridiculous. We just don't have that.
yeah, I'm like the thing is that you know. Like, you know, the pictures they were showing when the earthquake was happening, the guy was still in the office doing work while the stuff was falling behind him. Yeah, that was actually happening. The it was we were we had batteries. I had like just in case something happened, but the batteries ran out. So they were doing rolling blackouts. So we had gas, but we didn't have lights, right? And then like 2 blocks down the street, they had lights but no gas, right? So neighbors would come out, and this is where it was like knowing your neighbors in Japan, like is you know a neighborhood. So neighbors would come knock on the door and say, "Hey, we got lights. Do you need to charge your phone?" They say, "Well, we got gas. Do you need to cook any food?" And they would come in and they would, take turns, with people that had gas. They would cook their food, and then they would actually give you money for letting them, use your gas. And most people would just say, "No, it's okay because it's the earthquake." That's the type of thing that happened. They would have people walking around the neighborhood, securing the neighborhood, making sure no one was breaking into someone's home, just in case, because the lights weren't working and stuff.
Here's the thing. I remember videos of the men who always wear sunglasses handing out stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tell them who the men who always wear sunglasses are.
Oh man. See, well, it was like that before. Now it's changed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of
what you're talking about. Let them know.
Yeah, this is most of them mafia dudes. So they try to get you in the little spots and stuff like that. They try to get you in, but some of the best guys, some of the best people that I do business with are mafia guys. Like, is
never say that again publicly? Can you just? That's never gonna be a good thing to say.
Yeah, no, it's actually Japan is actually ran by mafia pretty much everything. But there's
before we even go farther, I want to tell everybody because my friends laugh at me until some shit goes wrong, right? Yeah. About say it with me, people. We need to be what wrong page. I was trying to be dramatic. Hold on. When everybody sees things go wrong, we all need to be a prepper.
Yeah.
Go watch this video, people. Storm Prepper, How to Survive a Natural Disaster. Go watch the video. It can happen to you no matter where you are, no matter what you think. Yes, something bad can happen.
Exactly. Like a lot of times people want to like go to a different country. Like Japan, like you were here, earthquakes are normal. I say like people, earthquakes are like gunshots in the hood. They're normal. Like is the best way to put it, right? And you get used to them. I'm so used to them that I like if it's not a 5, I'm not even concerned. Like if it's not a 5, I'm not concerned. Like I'll wake up halfway, all right, go back to sleep. Even the dog doesn't even trip out. Like he's like, all right, whatever. If it's a 5, then we getting out the house. Like we're not. They tell you that go jump in the tub or go underneath a table. I'm leaving the house. Like if I can get out the house, I'm going out the house away from the house. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to be prepared. No matter how much you travel, you're still not a citizen of that country unless you naturalize. They can change. They can change immigration at the drop of a hat. You have no rights to vote. You have nothing. So you always have to have that tether back in your home country. You always have to have that tether. Never fully, roll out. Like, never fully detach from the country where you're born at. Until you get to the point where you're going to be there. And what I mean be there is like, you put down roots so much that you're a part of the economy where they're not getting you out of there. And that's the one thing that I like to instill in a lot of people is that, like, don't this is, if you're having a problem with being having a grounded foundation where you're at, don't go overseas, because those problems are going to be greatly magnified, because the culture is different, and you're going to be put in a position where it's going to be hard to dig yourself out of.
Well, here's what I explain to people. Traveling the world is amazing, and I'm a huge advocate of it.
Yeah.
But you can't run from your problems, because any problems you have, they just stick in your brain. Like any adjustment issues you have, like you got to be okay.
Yeah. You got to
be somebody who, like, if you're unable to establish friendships in your own country, you're not going to do it in another country.
Oh no. You see, here's the thing. Like I tell a lot of people, like, if you are a extremely introverted person, you need a travel buddy. You need a travel buddy. Like, if you need a person that's your opposite. If you're an extremely introverted person, you need a travel buddy, because you need to be able to ingrain yourself with people, and be outgoing and stuff like that, and be impersonable. A lot of other times, I'll give you a perfect example. I've been places in Japan, like Aichi Prefecture, where you talk about old Japan, Nagoya and Osaka, and stuff. And when I first came over to Japan, I still had that stateside mentality, especially with dealing with white folk. Like, I would look at them, whatever. But when I was with my wife now, but we were dating, and I went to meet, my future in-laws. We were there, and I saw this guy, this white guy. He comes darting across the street. Right, I'm walking down the street. I'm smoking my Black and Mild or whatever, and it's nothing but rice fields out there. Right, I brought him with me because they ain't have them out there. I brought him with me. I had like a whole pack because we was out there for the summer. So I'm smoking about Black and Mild, and I see this guy. He's darting, like darting. I'm like, where are you going, right? Like, and he stops like next to me. He's like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "What do you want?" And this, because I'm not used to, where I'm from. I'm not used to white people approaching you unless they want something in particular, or unless you're in a job environment, they stay on their side, you stay on your side. Unless you have to interact, you're not interacting, right? Like whatever, And he comes, seeks me out. He's like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "What do you want?" And he was like, "So how long are you going to be here?" I was like, "What?" Like, I'm looking around, like, what are you?
Well, let me go over something that I said in the past.
Yeah.
My channel is generally 1/3 talking about money, cryptocurrency, investment strategies. It's generally 1/3 about social issues and talking about traveling the world and my life in Brazil. And it's 1/3 having these giant conversations with friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the race card right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have to establish with people when they travel, particularly Black people, is that the first thing you find out is that no one hates you from other countries. Like, they think that they're going to get the same problem they have in America abroad. No. If you survive racism in America, you'll be fine anywhere else, because I'm going to use Japan as an example, and I'd like you to correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, they don't hate Black people or white people. You're either Japanese or you're not.
Yeah.
Now, here's why that's to your advantage as a Black person, man, woman, anywhere. You start out as -10 like everybody else. But if you're Black and you're used to having to work twice as hard for half as much credit, there's a reason they love Black businessmen all over the world, because we go over there and we just explode out of the water. Whereas white people, a lot of them still expect the same white privilege. Like, if they feel they're in competition with me for a contract, they often would feel like, well, I've got this because at least I'm white. And then they find out, wait a minute, they only hired him because he did more work and gave a better presentation. And I learned this from working years in the financial the financial business. Oh, we got a reigning woman. Love her to death. One of the most amazing people. And I hope everybody, let me do this.
Yeah.
I hope that everybody gets a chance to go to her channel. She is very relaxed and very polished in her delivery, even though sometimes she talks about punching girls in the face.
Yeah. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you need content for a lot of things, for everything. And everybody, sometimes you need that. Like somebody just get it. It's like and you're right about that. It's I like when that guy talked to me, he was so happy to see another person that he knew that spoke English, that was from a westernized country he could kind of relate to. And me and this guy, it was crazy because like my wife came out the house, right? And she's looking at me like, who's this dude? I was like, I don't know who this dude is. Like, who is like you don't know this dude? Like and then and he talked to me and I was like sitting there smoking, and then I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, man, if you're gonna be around, I live like over here or whatever. I said, yeah, I'm just visiting. So the next day I come out, have my smoke. He comes out, walks up to me, hey man, how you doing? We just trade information, just talk a little bit. He said, hold on, I'll be right back. He comes back with a beer, right? Beer. And we just sit there. He's just like, dude's telling me how he got to Japan. He was in college. He always wanted to come to Japan. There was this program called ASL for teaching English. He never thought that he'll get picked up for the program. He got picked up for the program. He brought a plane ticket, round trip. They set everything up. He's been working in this company for like 3-4 years. He loves it. It's his friends in Tokyo, they hate it. He like it where he's at. And he was just explaining, he's like, man, this is the best thing ever, but it's coming to that point where he sees the ceiling, right? And then I could see the white privilege thing hitting him hard. You know what I'm saying?
Please go in.
Okay. So the white privilege thing, it happens to a lot of white people overseas from westernized countries, especially from America, right? Americans, they get hit hard with the white privilege, right? The white privilege doesn't exist, right? Okay. So they don't understand how it is that you do everything right. And they always have these interactions with Japanese where they'll have an altercation with a Japanese person, not physical, but something. The police will come. They'll talk to the police officer. The police officer like, okay, right? Then they'll look at the Japanese person. The Japanese person will speak perfect Japanese, and unless they have a Japanese person there to vouch for them, they're already in the wrong, right? Right?
Almost like being black and being accused of a crime, and the assumption of guilt happens before you mount a defense.
And you need you need a white person to vouch for you. Yeah. So when I hear these stories, right? When I hear these stories, they don't come to the realization until they look you in the face and they realize this is what a black person feels like. Because they'll tell you, hey, I called my parents, they don't understand. They just think I'm belly aching and whining. And then I talk to my other friends that didn't go through it. They don't know that the ones that went through it, they do know. But then when they talk to a black person, they get that reality check. Right? Like if you could take every white person and take them out of America and drop them off in the country and give them that situation, I would say most of them would change their modus operandi in life about dealing with people that are not white and understand some things. But with black people, the other thing with us is they're the black people. They're two extremes that I see of black people that live abroad. Right? There's the ones that can't grow because of black. I can't do this because of black. Like they carry that chip and that weight and everything on their ship.
It's not that weight is unjustified. It's that justice isn't coming, so you got to get past it.
Exactly. And the other one is the ones that they finally got some peace. So everything that they should nip in the bud before it snowballs, they let it pass by them. Right? They like, well, it's not as bad as being in the States. Shit happens. Is that it's it's not that balance in between. You know, you got the ones that can't go forward, and then you got the ones that because it's not so overt, or they see their white counterparts getting treated just as bad as them, right? Or they'll make excuses, or what we call it, becoming pseudo Japanese, or they'll start to lose their own culture, who they are, and start taking on the culture of the country that they're in so fully that they start to whitewash, or not whitewash, but dilute who they are as a person,
Right.
and they forget that they
let me
are.
do real quick. I want to say two things. One, I want everybody to say hello to Craig. Now, Craig, earlier, I don't know if you were watching, Brother Craig, we actually referenced the hurricanes, typhoons, and earthquakes that happened in Japan, and I referenced them back to our video on being a prepper.
Yeah.
Now, for people who haven't watched that, Craig is my co-host on that one. He has an amazing voice and face for YouTube. I'm trying to get him set up on his own channel. Watch it, leave a comment there, tell him we need to see more from him. And I want to also read what BK from the Rockies said. Exactly, in Asia, you don't have the upper hand in any situation unless you are Asian and speak the language. Now, one of the things that I've learned traveling the world is I knew from the time I was in my early 20s, I was going to look for another country to work on getting my second passport.
Right.
I've lived in Asia. A lot of people thought it would be Asia because I've lived throughout Asia, you know, a little bit of Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand for years, Japan for years, China for years.
Yeah.
And the difference is the way their culture is set up. They're a beautiful, wonderful culture. However, you'll never, for example, I just left after 2 years of China and came to Brazil. In China, you'll never be Chinese. Thank you, Rainy Woman. She's always got my back as my personal cheerleader for what I do, and I love it. But here's the other thing that people don't think about. There are some countries where you are welcome. Now, I have some friends who did it in Africa, but I also want to share with people, consider Brazil. Consider Brazil. I've written a lot about Brazil. This is a country where if you are respectful of the people, make an honest attempt at learning the language, you can get a hug. You can be embraced by the culture, and not in an exclusive way, but an inclusive way. And I have a series called All About Brazil, but I've done everything from why I moved to Brazil to drums and music to what it's like living off my laptop as a writer. Hape ayahuasca, they have the indigenous people here use a lot of hallucinogenics. I'm not into it, but I have a friend who is.
Yeah,
Keep succeeding.
Yeah, it's what is it called? They use it because a lot of people come down and they do it, you know, but it's actually used for like for spirituality, walking in the spiritual realm, you know, finding yourself, you know, it's done in a different way that people think it's for, but you have to get to a certain level in that type of spiritual walk before they even allow you to take it in that way, because it'll mess you up. Like if you're not right mentally, it will send you over and you be stuck stupid. When you get into that,
they get into it and they're more qualified than I. But here's one that became very popular and passed around. A friend said, "How do I start an expat career teaching in Brazil?" Now, for a lot of people, they don't know that in addition to being a writer and an editor, I do executive English to businessmen and businesswomen who are generally presidents, CEOs, CFO, who need someone who can help them with university level, presentation level English. I do a lot of public speaking. People know who I am in different circles and communities. And I always tell people, don't look at what I do, because this is after years of success in the business. Most people don't know that you can earn a middle-class income almost anywhere in the world teaching English. But if you become good at it and exclusive at it, I mean, I have all private clients. I only work for myself. I use the information that I learned when I was a financial professional to translate it over to Brazil. I can tell you, you can do a lot here.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions, though, because here I want to make sure that I didn't skip over anybody, because I'm at a point where I still want to try to get to know everybody. Shadra Kirsa. I'm not sure. Have we met? Can you leave in the comments how you heard about my channel, whether or not you subscribed, and if you shared this somewhere? Is this a friend to you?
Yeah. He's in the Discord server. That's the way we say hello to you.
And why do you do the Discord server? How come nobody invites me to Discord server? I feel left out.
Yeah, he's in the Discord server. We because we do gaming and stuff like that. So we do this game, and we on the Grey Regime gaming server. There's a gaming channel where we play this game and have fun and joke around. Just guys just having their drinks and just playing. It is hilarious. So
what do you play?
We were playing. I think we were playing. Right now, we're playing Warframe. So we're playing that now. It's a free to play game that's on the PC and on the consoles on PlayStation 4, and it's actually really good. For a game that's free, it's actually really good. We call ourselves Broke Five Broke because we ain't paying for nothing. We grind for everything as much as possible. We were playing. I forgot the other game that we were playing. That came out. Borderlands, the new Borderlands that came out. I think the first couple of streams we did that. And so it was me and Shardra. Yeah, Warframe, Borderlands, and the Dragon's Crown is coming soon. So that's what we were playing. But he's also.
I want to do something real quick. I want everybody to see Steven's story as well.
Yeah,
Steven's story is legit. He's a friend. He's done some chats with me. He understands the concept of making money in two countries. And he's one of the guys that's really encouraged me to I'm always used to being this hefty, heavy-ass weightlifter, and he's helped me to really reconsider my calorie count and kind of leaning out. And he does a lot of different things. Follow him on Twitter. Go follow this dude on Twitter.
Yeah, because I think Craig Washington asked, what is the gaming culture like in Japan?
There you go.
The gaming culture in Japan is the gaming culture in Asia. They do everything overboard, right? Like, and when I mean overboard, if they're good, they take it to like cult-like status, right? And if they're bad, they cult-like status. So they have this thing in Asia right now where they have these people where they're shut-ins. They don't leave the house. They sit in the house and they play games and they don't want to leave, right? They also have this thing where people live in internet cafes. Like they don't, because rent is so expensive or whatever. They just work to go play games. But what I do want to say is that if you go look at the top competition gamers when it comes to fighting games, is usually the Japanese and the Koreans are up there. Now there's one brother that's up there, Majin, and there's Snake Eyes with the Street Fighter thing like that. But yeah, like gaming is usually them when it comes to the fighting games and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I have a quick question. Is this the word? I mean, I don't know what level your Japanese is at. I just know it's better than everybody else's here. Hikikomori. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Who are the introverts who stay at home? Yeah.
Stay at home. Don't move. Like, they just, they don't want to do anything. So it's a you see it a lot, but to a certain degree I understand it because just to leave, like to a certain degree I understand it because you remember when you were here around this time, after around like March, we call it you better leave an hour early for work because it's suicide season. Right.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you how I learned about suicide season. A woman I work with came into the office, had a meltdown. Apparently, some selfish, horrible person jumped in front of a train that was standing next to her.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you, because she saw the whole thing. And I don't even know how you come back from that.
Yeah. Well, this is the crazy thing, right? This guy, he jumped in front of a train to kill himself, right? He succeeded, but he killed the old lady next to him because his arm that dismembered from his body hit the old lady at high speed that was standing next to him, and it killed her, right? So let me explain to you why this happens between that time, right? All the universities and all the schools, and then when you graduate from university, we all know that they go to the next grade, or graduation happens in March, right? All job selections and everything
That's
happens.
when everybody buys a new suit.
New suits, right? They look like Agent Smiths walking down the street, right? It looks like the Matrix, right? Right. So when you don't get picked up and you have all that pressure, we know how Japan is with wealth being passed down through the oldest of the family, and the name and the branch families and all of that. When you don't make it, right? Or if you are a manager, right? You know how that works, right? Like the manager doesn't do the right job, the owner of the company doesn't have to show up. And if he shows up, it's either to give praise or someone's getting executed, right? Someone's getting, yeah, exactly. So what happens is the manager doesn't just get fired, right? His family, he's got to pay the debt back, right? Of whatever the money of the company was lost because it's his fault, right? So what happens is if you kill yourself, right? Because they still believe in the whole honor killing thing, right? Killing yourself, you know what I'm saying? They don't do that anymore. So what you do is you jump in front of a train. If you jump in front of a train, what happens is your debt dies with you. People don't know that in Japan. The debt
Now,
dies.
a lot of people don't know, if you want to really go into the United States, a lot of people don't understand. In the United States, we have something similar.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you know enough about American history, specifically white American history during the Dust Bowl era and beyond. There's something called buy the farm.
Yep.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I know what I mean. They still got that law in the books. That's how Aaron Hernandez killed himself.
Well, here's the thing. Buy the farm is when a farmer was in so deep over his head because of bad crops, owing people money for his equipment, for the seeds they borrowed. His wife and children may starve. He would have a farming accident so that his insurance money may pay for all his debts to be paid off, and his family can own the farm. They could buy the farm with the proceeds from his death.
Yep.
Now, again, people who know me, they know where I'm going with this, because I'm going to beat this until the wheels fall off. I worked in the investment and insurance industry for many years. I worked particularly with mutual funds, stable investments, and a lot of life insurance. Life insurance is a great way to attain wealth for your family. How wealth is built, most people don't know about it. I want to tell everybody here to go back and talk with, I have a friend named Michael Darko, and we had a great conversation about life insurance. And I want everybody to go watch it, because I don't really care how much fun you think it is or is not. I want you to go look at Life Insurance Lives. I don't know why this video is more popular. It's one of those things that everybody needs to know more about. Go watch the video, please. Before I get too far down the river, I want to back up and say hello to Green Machine. I don't know if we've met yet. I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I try to get to know a lot of the new faces and new people. In the comments, let me know how you found me, how long you've been subscribed, and tell me if you shared this on your Facebook. Yeah, man, that's and hey, he knew.
Yeah,
he knew that. He knew
that. It's like people don't realize that your wealth is passed down through death. Like where will's important, building wealth for your kids. Like how I came up, I didn't have anything, right? Nothing. When my parents passed, they passed me nothing. Like, and nothing was good because I didn't have any debt to pay. Because there's a lot of our older generation dying with debt. Not that, like before, they didn't give you nothing. It was like, oh man, now it's like good. They ain't leave me no bills to pay. Like, because those bills now, like people are dying now. The boomers are dying now. They're leaving debt on their children. You know, and people don't understand that you have to, if you want to stop this cycle of poverty, you have to stop it. Then you have to build it up to a certain place, and then you have to be the foundation of finances and build that over. And the way that you do that is life insurance, yes. Setting up land somewhere for your children. It doesn't have to be big. It just be a small plot of land, because land can always be used as a tool to build more wealth. You can sell it,
Right.
you can rent it out, you can lease it. People
Now, here's
don't.
what I will tell you about life insurance. A lot of people don't know. It's not true anymore, and it's not an excuse. But I want to go over two quick things. One, you can't get life insurance through killing yourself. I want to be clear. That might have been something that happened 100 years ago.
No,
But
you
if you
can't.
have any cent at all that you killed yourself or made your own death happen, your family gets nothing. So don't even get that in your head.
No.
Two, a lot of people don't know this, but non-white Americans were not allowed to have life insurance for a long time in America. Why? Because everyone understands that life insurance is a great way to make sure your family is not poor next year.
Yeah. Like
Now, Nathan said he benefited, but he squandered it. I work with people all the time that would get a life insurance benefit and not know what to do with it. And thank goodness they had a friend that could refer me to them. Because I can tell you, I remember writing life insurance policies when I was still training under the guidance of older guys. And they would say, we want to put in a clause in this life insurance. And I would write the policy and show it to my higher ups and say, I'm going to give this to the family to have everybody get their life insurance. And says, but here's something you should know.
yeah.
You should write it in a way that if it's a boy who benefits, he doesn't get his life insurance benefits until he's 30, and a girl until she's 25. Why is that?
Yeah.
Most people can't deal with the death of a parent and a windfall of money at the same time. They can't deal with saying, I just buried my mom or my dad or my last parent. And by the way, the insurance guy came over and just handed me a check. They shouldn't get it until they're older. And I'm going to go on a very sexist rant here. Most men's brains aren't done cooking until they're about 30. And for women, they can get away early at 25.
Yeah.
But there's a way you give a 25-year-old man who just lost his last parent a giant check, he may end up dead. We have cases of guys who can't, because how do you process that? And now you got enough money to hurt yourself.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like people, like I remember my father-in-law said, he said, there's two problems with money. He said not having enough of it, which we all know that's the majority problem, but having too much of it. Right. And having too much money gets you in a lot of trouble. Right. Because you got too much time to think. Right. When you don't have enough money, the only thing you're thinking about is eating. Like you got set problems. Right. If it's the wintertime, you're thinking about eating and being cold. If it's the summertime, you're thinking about eating and being hot. Right. But when you have too much money, you're thinking about things that's so far fetched that you start to go into it and then you can't understand it. I have a lot of people that I know that are wealthy, that are unhappy, right? And when I mean wealthy, I'm talking about the ones that were born into it, where they don't, like, how Japan works, right? When you're wealthy, right? The way it's set up, you can't go broke in your lifetime because there are so many stop gaps that keep you from messing up the family fortune. Like if they feel as though if you're an imbecile, but you still got the family name, then they will give you some bull ass company, right? And they'll have a person that's your assistant that's pretty much like a guardian to keep you from doing stupid stuff. And basically they'll just give you like an allowance until you just do whatever. You know what I mean?
Let me ask Shar a question. She said a room full of Jordans. Are we playing into the worst stereotypes about our people? I mean, are we really seeing? I mean, I see people get insurance money and do things, but I don't know. Is that still happening? I mean, I don't. Is that still a part of? I was never part of that culture. For people who don't know, I've been wearing white Shoto Adidas Superstars since I was, I don't know. I just know what size I wear, and I just put them on because they're about $100 everywhere in the world, and I just run with them. And so I've never been part of excessive culture, you know, rings and things like that.
Yeah. Well, like if you think about it, well, where I'm from, I've seen a lot of people come into a windfall, right? And it's nothing extravagant like $150,000 or something like that. Maybe 50, 60,000, right? And you know, we gotta look good. You know, look at people. Give you a perfect example: tax returns, right? People do their tax returns, right? And they don't actually do their tax returns properly. They do them. They go to H&R Block, right? Right. You will get more off your tax returns, especially if you have kids, if you actually sit there, take time, take your receipts, and divide them up monthly, right? What you spend your food on, your clothing, your entertainment, your transportation, all of that. If you put those receipts in, say this is for transportation, this is for this is for that, and then you put that in a folder, and then you go and pay an accountant, a tax accountant, you will actually get way more money. Now, what do they do when they get those tax returns? Two things happen. Well, three things happen, right? They pay back the loan that they got for Christmas for splurging, right? Buying gifts they really couldn't afford.
Stop it. Come on, man. You're hurting me. You're hurting me.
Right. No, that's what they do. That's the first thing, right? Because they went in the red with the Christmas gifts, right? The second thing that they do is it's Easter, right? It's springtime, so we got to buy them new outfits, right? We got to buy them new outfits, right? And then the third thing that they do is we're going on a trip. We got to go on a trip. We go to Vegas. We going over here. We going over there, right? Three things that's unneeded at that time, right? Now,
hold on, pause for the cause. Do you know I have to explain? I explained to some people that I know and love.
Yeah.
They're on a 2 week. I lived in Las Vegas for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's easy if you don't drink, smoke, and deal with hookers. You can have a great life because Vegas has some of the best food and the best entertainment in the world. But that's beside the point. I'm gonna have to do a Las Vegas episode. Check this out. I actually showed people the math that if you are going on a trip somewhere, anywhere for 2 weeks, 1 week, did you know it's cheaper to come to Brazil and you could live here for a month holiday? That it's cheaper to go to Brazil, you know, and have a holiday there, come here for 2 weeks, because you'll pay for a ticket, but everything else is less than 20% of the price, including, I mean, I could take you to some barbecue restaurants and some parks and some adventures and some and cultural shows and music for almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's scary because I have to explain to these people, like, check this out. Anybody who wants to know about the cost of living in Brazil, go watch that one. People get mad when they figure out how much money I'm not spending.
Well, like I give you a perfect example. When I went to Vietnam, right? I went to Vietnam. We're in Vietnam. We got a place, right? We got a place, and you know, I was in the military first. So I'm in the military, you know, being in the Navy affords you this one luxury, right? Because you find out that the world is 75% water, right? So, but the good thing is you get to go places, see how they are, and then go back, right? So we went to Vietnam, right? We're there, and it's cheap. It's dirt cheap, right? It's just ridiculously cheap, right? So everyone's getting these 5-star hotels and stuff, right? We get a driver, right? And we ask them, hey, do they have any condos or anything for rent, right? They say yeah. So we takes us to the condo. So we all basically put up like $100, right? So we're in this condo with this pool and everything. Everything's beautiful, whatever. And pretty much the condo, basically the 5-star hotel that everybody was going to was like $150 a day, right? 3 of us, we paid $150 a piece, and we were there for 2 weeks. Right? 2 weeks, and we actually paid over. So the owner basically filled it up with food. Like he put food in there and whatever. So the driver that we got, he had a sister, and she came and just cooked. We paid her like $50. And she just came.
Let me tell you something. There's this dude who was gonna come on. He said he went to, I don't know, Dominican Republic or something, and he's walking along the beach, and these girls like, "Hey, you looking for a good time?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm good, thank you." But then he stopped and he looked at him. He said, "Can you speak Spanish?" I think he said, "Can you cook?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Do you know how to cook? Do you cook for your family?" She was like, "Well, I got a father and like 3 brothers, and I'm turning tricks, but yeah, I know how to cook." He said, "I'll tell you what. Here's my
Yeah.
He hired her for less than she was making as a prostitute, but still enough money for her to earn an honest living. He said, "Let me tell you something." She became his personal bodyguard, bouncer, cook. She wouldn't let nothing happen to him because he gave her a way out with her dignity. She would come to his house, cook 3-course meals for him and his friends, all the food they would eat at home, and wouldn't. And he said it was like a guardian for him. It was hilarious.
Like with people, and here's the thing: if you're traveling, right, and this is and I would say this, like if you're going to quote unquote third world countries, right? Me personally, I would basically, if it's your first time traveling, you don't know anyone, right? If your street smarts aren't up there, or you know not to keep yourself out of stupidity,
Right.
I would say your first overseas travel should be to a first world country, like somewhere in Europe, like Italy, Spain, or somewhere like that, where they really do speak English. I mean, they speak English, they speak their native tongue. If you're in the main city states, stuff like that. If you're going to these third world countries, what I like to tell you, especially in Asia, what you got to do is you got to give yourself a actual, how should I say it, quote unquote, you got to get yourself a driver, right? You get yourself a driver. The driver is your security, right? And it's usually a person that has a like a van, or a very nice van or something like that, or whatever. But what you do is you don't pay this person for that one trip. You negotiate a payment for the rest of your stay there. They're going
They
to
get half up front and half when you leave.
yeah, and they work through it. Yeah,
I have people say to me all the time, they go, "But what? Isn't living in Brazil dangerous? Don't you get off the airplane and just get stabbed in the face and robbed?" And I looked at them and I said, "Well, first of all, you're looking at a city that's one of the largest cities in the world. It's where I live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's kind of like living in New York City or Tokyo or Shanghai or any of the other cities that I've lived in anywhere in the world. What does that mean? That means, guess what? There are bad neighborhoods everywhere, and I don't go to them. I wasn't raised in a bad neighborhood nor in poverty, so I have no reason to go there." And people, go check this out, Brazil Violence and Danger Where You Are. Everybody has this weird thing in their brain like, but if you go overseas, it's dangerous. If you live in the United States of America, you're in more danger than you are in Brazil. And let me break this down for you. People say, "But I read online there are millions of murders in Brazil every year." Yes, there are, in places where people are exceedingly poor and doing bad things. But here's the difference. For me to get into a physical situation to get robbed or mugged in Brazil, it would mean I went someplace that I should not have been doing something I shouldn't have been doing.
there you
In
go.
the United States, you can go to a shopping mall and get shot by a crazy middle-aged white man with a gun.
Yes, you can go to school minding your business in the upper echelon neighborhood and get mowed down. But
That doesn't
like
happen here.
right,
If I'm not in a bad place, the odds on me. I've seen a lot of tourists do this one, walking downtown, Paulista Avenue. I have to show you guys Paulista. They walk like this. "Look, mom, I'm on the," and somebody sees that phone in their hand and they just go bloop.
yeah, petty theft and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's like I say like this. Would you go down to Skid Row at 12 o'clock at night on the first of the month? No.
It's not.
So why would you jump in a plane, go all the way overseas, and then go do that again? You're not going to be in those places most of the time. Now, the thing that you need to do is you need to do certain things to protect yourself, and you actually got to understand the country you're going to and stay up on the news, right? Like if the place always has some type of terrorist something happen to it, or you got to look at the political landscape of the place that you're visiting, right? Natural disasters, hurricane seasons, things of that nature. Usually you stay out of those in non-tourist seasons, and non-tourist seasons is usually the winter breaking into the spring, or the summer breaking into the fall. This is usually where it's cheaper for you to go. Winter time is not actually cheaper for you to go because one of the two things is going to happen. People are doing the same thing you're doing, or is usually when the weather is the most inclement during that time.
Craig,
So,
situational awareness will save you. Common sense help too. But brother Craig, if common sense was common, more people would have it. It wouldn't be that. And what did BK say? Phone theft happened a lot in the DC metro because people didn't pay attention to their surroundings, were really obviously unfortunate for them. You know what? I want to go back up for a second because Green Machine, he said two things that I want to touch on. This might mean, I might have to give you a ticket up to the big house, Green Machine. One thing you said, you have a CPA. We need to talk. You need to deliver your message. Two, you said something, and I really want to get into this. And if anybody in the chat wants to join us for this conversation, I'm working on changing my class and family fortune. Now, I understand the part about changing your family fortune, but we haven't had a good conversation on class here. Yeah. Class warfare. What is class? What does class mean? What does class mean to people? What lessons did I learn about class working in the financial business? That's something that Green Machine, can you shoot me an email? I don't know if you said we're together on LinkedIn, shoot me a message there, or if not, I'm just gonna put this out there for anybody who wants it, because blah, YusefWateef at gmail.com if anybody wants to catch me. But I definitely want to hear from you, Green Machine. Send me a note. That situational awareness is kind of like here in Sao Paulo, you always have somebody that hears about some crazy party that's happening way out in the middle of nowhere out there. And I'm looking at it on my computer. I'm not going there. Well, like, why not? It's going to be a great party. I have to take 2 trains, a bus, and a Uber from the bus station to go in the middle of a place that I don't even know if the place gets phone reception. Nah, player. I'll just stick downtown and drink my latte with my friends, and you can call me all the bougie and stuck up you want to, but when something happens, my ass is not going to be down there because, again, I didn't live in that kind of world in America. Why would I do it here?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I see a lot of like when you don't have fear of regular I noticed this one thing. Black people, we have ridiculous fear, right? We have fear of just breathing in America, right? And when we get outside of America and we understand that we don't need that fear of society messing with us, right? We calm down, but we don't lose that edge, right? We keep that edge around us. Actually, we feel weird if the edge goes away, right? And if anything doesn't sound right, like, hey, let's go over here and do such and such, right? Nah. Like, I'm not going over there. Who's gonna be there? Who your friend? Where the pictures at? That's too far. Who you know? Have I met this person? I ain't going. Let me know how it was. Come back. See you, smooches. I'll be right here. Miss me with that one.
Thing, Sao Paulo is one of the largest cities in the world. I can go to some of the most amazing events and parties right downtown.
Yeah, with security and police. And that's where the class thing comes in.
But did you read what he just posted about class? Did you read what BK posted?
Class is big. Class encompasses your location, community around you. Yeah, listen. Here's the thing of this class thing, right? The people think class has a lot to do with your financial situation, right? And it does not, right? And the reason why it does not is because how are people that are lower class, right, able to operate and move around in upper class situations. Like here's a perfect example. Um, Look at the Meta Gala, right? Right.
The what?
The Meta Gala where all the like musicians and you know artist actors and actresses, they wear these gowns and stuff like that, these tuxedos and stuff, and they go to this gala, right? Why are they there? Because they're famous, right? But it's to raise money for this gallery, right? For all this artwork and stuff. Now, if you see all of this right here, you see these people, but the people with the real money are not on the screen. The people that host this, the billionaires, the who's who, the what's what, right? Now, what is class, right? Because why are these people mingling with these people? Right? They're mingling with these people because these people have the one thing they don't have, and that's fame, right? See, fame will, people that have class want fame, right? You know, that's the next step because if you walk past a person, if I was to take the 12th prince of, you know, of Mohammed, you know, from Dubai, put him in a regular shirt, right, with some regular slacks, some nice shoes, and walked him past you, you wouldn't know that this guy's worth $5.8 billion, right? But if I was to walk Brad Pitt by you, that's only worth maybe like liquid, maybe I'm just estimating 350 million. You're going to go with the Brad Pitt. This Brad Pitt has more class than the ninth prince of Dubai that was raised and groomed and with the best of education, whatever? Nah, right? Because people equate fame with class, and that's not it. Class is your integrity, your moral compass, how you carry yourself, how you deal with situations, how you talk to people.
Now, see, here's the thing. I disagree with your definition, but we're not going to give them all the candy at once.
Yeah.
You coming back to hang out with me again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah. I want everybody, and I'm going to do this again because I just can't stress enough how the cool thing about YouTube is it gets people together in a way like nothing else. It gets people in front of people that they never would have been able to meet before. And if I can be one of those folks, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be able to help and to show people and to give everybody information on places that they can go and people they can meet. As I said before, selfishly, hey, I'm a writer, editor. Catch me on here, catch me anywhere else. If you need my services, hire me. If not, the one thing I will ask everybody here to do, and I want to ask everybody here to do this, share this. Subscribe and share. You know, subscribe, and share, because that's the way that I get to meet other good people and bring them to you. Any parting shots you wanna give them?
Yeah, what I would say is this. The first thing is travel, pay attention to where you're going, save your money. If you have kids, before you get them, you know, I think every child that's 16 years of age should have a passport, especially a black child.
Well, wait a minute. How many children do you have?
I have three. I have 3 kids.
Can we talk about family life next time you come on as well? Can we make that a part of the session?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have no problem. Well, 2 of them are grown already, but yeah, sure. Yeah, 2 of them grown already. They don't live here, but yeah, we definitely can talk about that. But yeah, just get your kids some passports. Take a family trip somewhere. When you travel, for the men, this is not necessarily for the ladies, but for the men, travel to take a break. You know, being black, you actually, when you leave the country, you actually be on a proper vacation, right? Go somewhere where you're interested in that place, not the quote unquote opposite sex. Go somewhere where you're interested in the place, and the culture of that place, right? Do some root checking. You know what I'm saying? If you heard that you have some Islander in your blood, some West Indian in your blood, go to that place and see what it is that is true. Your DNA will make you feel that way. I'm half Haitian. So when I went to Seychelles, you ever been to Seychelles?
No.
Okay. Beautiful place. It's the islands that's above Madagascar. Um, on the off the east coast of Africa, right? So Seychelles, when I got there, I felt like I was home. Right? For some reason it felt like I was home, but it felt like Haiti to me. And I've been to Haiti a couple of times. But I felt the same way when I was in Guam, when I was in Australia. When I was in certain places, it felt like it was home. I felt like that in Malta. I felt like that in Sicily. Certain places make me feel like this is my home and I belong here, but that's my DNA. So I would say travel, be economical with it. Don't break your bank. Don't go do overtime just so you can travel. Save up enough money so you can pay them bills when you get back. Because the bills don't go anywhere, right? And do that. And I say you should have a great time. And make friends with the locals. See how the locals live. Make friends with the locals. And if you want to make that jump, there's a network of folk out here that'll be willing to help you and walk you through it. But to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you the facts. I'm not going to give you all peaches and cream and stuff. And I do that on my channel. I try to tell you straight up what's about to happen and how it's about to go down. And I don't mince my words when I tell you, because I would rather tell you the truth, because the truth don't care about your feelings.
Well, here are a couple of things you touched on that I want to share with people, because you said a few things that matter. One, how to leave America 101 and 202. I might have to do a 303, but this is one of my more popular videos, so I hope everybody gets a chance to look at it. I really go into what it takes to get out of the United States and the patience you might have to have.
Yeah.
Two, you said something earlier about don't just travel for women. One of the things that I always tell people is they don't seem to understand that I did an article, 9-minute talk called Easy Brazilian Women. And I really kind of dig in on some people, because what I don't seem to get across to enough men is that if you don't have a problem with women where you are, you won't have a problem here or anyplace else. But you come to Brazil, you're dealing with women who are used to men who are exercising, working out, and not afraid to talk to them. I don't know where this myth came about that Brazilian women were somehow different, that it was just going to be easier here. But I suspect people think the same thing about Japan. Like, if I just go to Japan, it'll be easier. Because everybody's looking for the easy something. There is no easy way. Just do the work. Just do the work, people.
Easy. We know what easy means. We already know what easy means. It's the code word for international tricking. Like that's what easy means. Like that's what it is. You come out your purse strings, of course, right? And you're going to get that type of woman, right? But if you're actually trying to get someone of class, like the brother was saying, and the chat is saying, then you need to have a conversation, right? And you need to be able to conversate. Communication is one. And if you're talking to a woman, especially like if you're talking about Brazil, or you're talking about DR, or if you're talking about anywhere like that where it's not considered a first world country per se, far as we're talking about the talking about the national capital and the currency per se, right? You're going to have to speak the language. And if that woman can talk to you in pretty much a conversational language, in your language, she's at the upper echelon of her society, right? That means that you got to be someone of means, because she's got the top 10% guys that are in her own culture that she wants to deal with. And if you find a unicorn,
we can go down that road. I mean, there is so many conversations to be had. But what I want to do is we've been here for a while. I know people got things to do, and I got things to do, and I got clients to attend to. I want to say thank you.
Oh yeah,
for taking time to be with us today. BK from the Rockies, who's always got great ideas to share. He said another person who really discussed class is Kevin Samuel. Can you leave a link, BK? He discussed it as it relates to fraternities and how these organizations built class connections. Be sure to leave that link if you can in the comments here, or after, if you find it, put it in the comments below. So what I will send everybody home with today is kind of like what we started at. Go check out Just Yandre. He's at 337. Let's get him up there. Let's get his like count up. Get his subscriptions up. I don't care if you're watching this now or in the future. And when you comment on his videos, tell him I sent you. Now your obligation, brother, is I want to see some more content from you.
Oh yeah. It's sitting here. It's sitting here. I gotta for the next. I think next 2 months I'm going to be doing some more traveling, because it's more of a it's a travel channel that I do a vlog, but it's more like my interactions with my family and how you would probably interact the best way possible. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a little bit raw, a little bit, but I think people really like me talking about the dogs. It's a video where I'm actually in Toys R Us in Odaiba with my kids. And there's a dog, and me and my wife are interacting and stuff like that. The big Gundam, we stayed down there for like a couple of days.
I want to see the big Gundam.
Yeah, the big Gundam. There's some vlogs in there about because I do a lot of club stuff, a lot of entertainment stuff. So I was at Ultra when it came, like, the EDM events, and I do the club vlogs and stuff like that. That is me actually working and doing stuff. I'm actually getting paid to be there. Like, people thinking I'm actually in the VIP split. No, I'm actually getting paid to be in the VIP, popping bottles and drinking with folk and stuff like that. So I'm not actually just there.
Well, that sounds like Las Vegas, but we can have that conversation another time. Yeah. So listen, thank you so much, brother, and I hope you have a great day. I got some things to say to you off camera, but for everybody else, I appreciate you. Oh, do you want to say goodbye to Greg and to brother Craig?
Greg. Yeah, man, I should be this side, man. It's about 12:17 in the morning over here, but they Gundam, man. But yeah, to everybody in the chat, Green Machine, Shar, BK from the Rockies. I saw you put something on the DC Metro. I'm from Baltimore, so yeah, I know about that. Shar, Shar is like the first lady of YouTube. If you want to really know how to mod, she needs to give a class on how to mod someone's channel. Like that is the YouTube builder of Black YouTube. That is the
really. Well, I would watch her class. Whenever you go on,
yeah, I learned how to mod from Shar. Shar is the builder of platforms. She is the behind the scenes architect. She keeps everything together. She's got a Patreon, everything, but she does a great advice channel. Like she gives great advice. She has Just Ask Shar advice channel. So please go check that out. Discord server. Actually, Yusef started his own Discord server. Where people that travel.
When are you gonna add me to the cool Discord servers? Because apparently these things exist. I just don't get invited.
Oh yeah, I just talked to the admin. I gotta jump in there and talk to him while he said he's been asleep. Cerulean, Cerulean of the Great Fault. Yep, Just Ask Shar right there. She has, and they do also the Neo sector for women, where her and actually Ruby, classic Ruby, Shar Ruby, they actually Friday they do a woman's panel on Friday, and they do kind of like an open panel on Saturday. They just talk about events from the week or subject matters and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, please check out these people and everything. Like, so that's
All right then. that to say this. Thank all of you. Thanks, Char. Thanks to the chat room. Thanks to everybody who joined us. Make sure you click the subscribe button. That's important. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love you all. Bye-bye. Thank you.